This podcast is brought to you by Voice and Vision, bringing help, hope, and healing to individuals, families, and communities affected by mental illness, addictions, and disabilities in southeastern Pennsylvania.
Welcome to Untold Valor, a podcast with a unique focus on veterans, featuring stories of courage, recovery, perseverance, and strength. Listen to hear veterans share their perspectives on what it's like to battle mental health challenges, combat addictions, and overcome other adversities unique to those who have served.
Back for another edition of Untold Valor, and excited about our guest this month, or this week, I should say, as the year is already moving right along with me. We are into late January already, but, time does move along. And so we're looking forward to having a conversation with Jaimie Ames, who is a U.S. Army veteran who served 6 years and is the co-founder and CEO of Operation Host. So we're going to talk about that, learn a little bit about her and her organization there. So Jaimie, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us here on the podcast. Of course, Reverend Ben is here as well. Reverend Ben, how are you, sir?
Okay, I'm fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward to chatting with you. So, Jaimie, tell us a little bit about you, just some talking points here. We're going to get into what Operation Host is, but time in the service, a little bit of your business background, or wherever you'd like to start.
So I was 6 years in the Army. My first duty station was Fort Monroe. It was right after 9/11, so obviously security was very high. Our security detail was for John Abrams, 4-star general. And yeah, from there, I kind of went on into a degree in business and accounting, owned a couple businesses, and kind of settled into what I do now, which is owning a nonprofit that helps veterans with MST and sexual assault that happen anytime in their life.
Gotcha. So let's talk a little bit about the hidden impact, right? So I think one of the core focuses, right, is on sexual trauma and PTSD, obviously, among veterans. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so when you're talking about the impact of it, it does get a little bit complex because everybody's trauma is different. Everybody's situation, traumatic event is different. I always say that people's trauma are like a fingerprint. There's no box to put it in, and there's definitely no certain way to heal from it. There's no textbook to tell you exactly how to do that. So our organization really kind of focuses on setting up a really reliable team and other resources that are custom tailored to the veterans' needs as far as what their specific needs are for healing from PTSD related to sexual trauma.
Gotcha. And so what is the survivor-led peer support? So talking about that versus like traditional models.
It's kind of like having a battle buddy, really. We do try to pair our peers with others who they feel comfortable with, who would check in with them maybe a couple times a week. But mainly our biggest focus is our peer-to-peer sessions, where I myself am a certified peer specialist. I lead those sessions on a Monday night, and the peers we get together, we're all veterans, so that veteran camaraderie is all in the room, which really brings that atmosphere to the session in a very good way. And we're there to kind of support each other. I ask some guiding questions. We do self-care check-ins, make sure I hold them responsible for whatever self-care they say they're going to tell me, they say they're going to do for that week. And make sure that, I kind of know where they're at the moment. So, using a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst day and 10 being the best day, and giving me a word. So everyone in the group kind of understands where each other's at, and we kind of move forward from there. And then really kind of guide the session towards not really opening up, but most of the time it does happen. And it's very therapeutic to be around peers that have gone through similar situations. And then outside, we provide resources for them, anything from secondary therapies to items or, other nonprofits that might help them through their other issues in life, like not being able to pay their rent or provide clothing for their children, that type of thing.
Gotcha. And are these the services and things that are being offered by Operation Host?
We do. So we have partners. We have other nonprofit partners that we work with that we're able to guide them and make sure they get correctly connected to them for their other needs. And as well as the secondary therapy sources like the equine therapy, We have writing therapy, yoga, you kind of name it. Anything that the veteran's interested in, we've hooked in with an organization to help get them situated in that secondary therapy for free.
That's interesting that you mentioned the equine. Our guest earlier in the month was also talking about that. It seems to be a very popular, and I'm assuming effective form of treatment for various different kinds of traumas and therapies, is using the equine there.
Yeah, I'm very surprised how many veterans are so open to being around the horses and how healing it is. I honestly never heard of that until I started this organization and realized how many organizations out there are specializing in that.
Yeah, it's done really well the last number of years, and I think its history goes back quite a bit as well. But so tell us a little bit about the mission of Operation Host and just kind of what's going on with the organization and some key points there.
We have our, I kind of highlighted some of the things that we already do and with our peer-led support and giving them guided direction towards other things that they might need. But, right now we're working on a pilot program for inmates. So reaching out to veterans, both men and women that are incarcerated and offering that peer service to them as well. And, we do have some male MST survivors, and I'm working with one specific one right now to lead the program. He has a lot of experience, with human services. And so, it's kind of, just starting it up, figuring it out, and putting it into action. We're also developing a PTSD healing workbook. It's a self-guided workbook, but it can be used in a group session. We've done it in a group session. It's very effective.
That's fantastic.
It's the goal for this workbook is to really get it into hands of especially the PTSD survivors in general, not just for MST, but who aren't comfortable with talking to a therapist. You can write your thoughts down and burn it in fire if you want to. It's one of those things that is effective because it can be so private, but it also kind of walks you through that healing process of you getting to know your PTSD symptoms and how to control those symptoms as they arise. So it's a very good comprehensive workbook that allows a survivor to really handle and manage their individual symptoms, because like I said, they're all different, and people respond to outside stimulus all different. So
it's an interesting point you made about how to identify, right? Because I think that's a challenge. Our bodies are so strange at times. Sometimes you wonder from a medical issue or an anxiety or a stress issue, you're trying to ascertain, like, what is this, right? Is this am I having a heart attack or am I stressed, right? It's very tough to identify sometimes what our bodies are doing to us.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, and I haven't actually come out to say this yet, but I myself, I'm an MST survivor and sexual assault survivor in general, both outside and inside the military, and also a lifetime of different types of trauma. So CPTSD, which is complex PTSD. And so I've had to go through this myself. This is all lived experience. When I started kind of studying PTSD and going through the peer support classes, I realized that, when I start rubbing my arm, that's the first sign I'm responding to something. And if I allow it to escalate, it can get worse. So when I start doing that, I have tools, and I call it tools in my toolbox to pull myself out of it and make sure that it doesn't escalate into something.
So you had to learn that was a sign that you were that you're triggered by something.
Yeah. And what was really interesting when I put it into a group session, when I started doing this part of the workbook there, the ladies in the group all shared what their trigger was, or what their triggers are, and then what they do when they're triggered, their first signs of being triggered.
Gotcha.
And people were like, I didn't know that when I, twirled my hair, when I start doing that was the first sign of a PTSD symptom coming on. So a lot of people were very enlightened by that and found it really useful in their lives when they're dealing with their own PTSD symptoms.
Yeah, so identifying that, right? And so this workbook hopefully is going to be helping along some of those lines. And it looks like it was co-authored by a best-selling author, Richard Paul Evans, as well. So they're very cool.
Definitely helping me with that project.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
So Jaimie, how would someone be able to get a hold of that information? Would they have to actually sign up for your program, or how would that work?
I called my peer-to-peer group kind of my guinea pigs, as it was being developed. I was, obviously,
lovingly called them that.
Lovingly, in that very camaraderie type way, like, hey guys, you're my guinea pigs. But we do have several psychologists and PTSD specialists that were overseeing pretty much every move that we were making in the workbook.
Right.
So, it was really controlled, but it was and based off of programs that already existed. But so to answer your question, the workbook itself is not published. We're hoping to the release in early 2026. And then I do have some great contacts in the VA who would like to start implementing it right away as soon as it is released. So yeah, hopefully you can get it at your local VA in the next year or two, and it will be distributed to most VA centers. So yeah,
if people would like to get involved, or whether to help, whether to join the program or just get some help for themselves, what's some ways to reach out and get involved? So operationhost.org, best way to do that?
So go to our website, operationhost.org, and there's contact form. There's also a volunteer section with different positions kind of outlined within the organization that are needed. We started an ambassador program. So these ambassadors are basically veterans, MST survivors that are in different states. We have currently 7 ambassadors in different states right now. They get flyers, they get information, and basically a kit so that they're able to take it to their local VA or veteran group or any organization that's interested, and kind of hand out the information and do local events regarding veterans and that type of thing. So
gotcha.
That's always needed, and just help in general. We want to get ourselves out there. It's a whole outreach thing right now, and obviously donations are vital for that. So we can't do a whole lot of outreach without money. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. We love what we're doing. We have 91 members in our organization, all receiving help, and we've outreached to thousands of other veterans. So we're growing, and we're super happy about it. And, the more people we help, the better this world will be, and the less veteran suicide there will be.
Well, and I think that's the goal, right? Obviously, is to try to move this forward. So if you've got those questions, or you want to help, or you want to get involved in whatever way, reach out to them again at operationhost.org. That's operationhost.org. Jaimie, I always wrap up with, like a final thought from you. Like if someone's listening and they're like, hey, I can relate to that, but I haven't reached out, or I'm thinking about doing something, what would be a piece of advice you would give from your lived experience?
I would say that, if you're at a moment right now in your life where you're just not sure that you're ready to take that step for your healing journey, just go ahead and do it, because you won't regret it. It's going to be hard work. But it is definitely worth it in the end. And we can definitely walk that journey with you as long as you're willing to receive the help.
Yeah, well said. Well, it's the start of the new year. We kind of find ourselves like gearing up for new challenges, things of that nature. So maybe this is a great time to, push yourself forward if you are experiencing that or struggling. We often make resolutions that we give up on pretty easily in the new year, but maybe this is one you shouldn't give up on, right? So go ahead and take some action. Reach out to them if you need some help. Again, we'll have links in the show description below. Jaimie, thank you so much for your time on the podcast. We certainly appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back.
Yes, I want to have you back again, because your program is progressing and things are getting better, and I want to keep track of that and let the listeners know that your program is working for those who need that service. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate both of you.
Yeah, especially once the workbook is available, we'll certainly reach back out and get some of those resources out there for folks to take advantage of. And as always, we do have the links in the show description. So if you'd like to get in touch with Jaimie or the team at Voice and Vision or CompureCore, we'll have all those links in this week's description of the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever app you enjoy using, Apple or Spotify or so on and so forth, and share the podcast with other veterans or family members of veterans who maybe could benefit from the messages that we try to provide. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you next time here on Untold Valor, Veterans Recovery in Action. You've been listening to Untold Valor by Voice and Vision. We hope you found the information and resources discussed today helpful. As always, thank you for listening and for your support. Remember to stay connected with us through our various social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to visit the website, voiceandvisioninc.org. That's voiceandvisioninc.org, where you can sign up for our blog and find free resources and information on upcoming events, webinars, workshops, and get support. You can also access our free help and hope guide for individuals and families struggling with substance use and addiction. If someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help because you and your life matter. Remember, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available to you at any time by dialing 988. We are all ambassadors of hope and recovery, and if you want to share your story, please contact us. CompureCore is also looking for veteran mentor volunteers and veteran participants. To find out more information about CompureCore, please call 610-541-0790. That's 610-541-0790. You can find all the links and contact information for the resources mentioned on today's episode by checking the description and the show notes section of your app. Thank you again for tuning in and for your support. Until next time, this has been Untold Valor.